Hello, welcome back to the stream and to this little personal project I'm working on. Yeah, I'm just going to be carrying on from where I left off last time, as usual. And this is what we got so far. Got a little ball bouncing around, all that good stuff. And again, just quickly show you what I'm working on for anyone who hasn't seen so far. Just working on a new little personal project to post on Instagram. And here's the little storyboard for that here. So probably be carrying on with like this section here and this section here today. See how far I got. But yeah, on the last stream I was having some trouble figuring out how to do these like trails that I've now got behind the circle, and I just ended up doing them off stream, and it was a bit of an annoying process figuring out like the edges and how the corners fold. It took me probably a lot longer than it should have, but I got there in the end. So yeah, that's the only thing that's changed from last time. So yeah, I'm going to be adding some more animation to these today as well, and have them like fade out so they're not all stacked on top of each other here. So yeah, that is my plan for today. So what is the first thing I want to do? I think the first thing I want to do is, I know I want to do a match cut here. So I'm just going to start by setting up a new composition for that. So make a new folder, and I'll make a new comp as well. So this will be scene 03. Yep. And I'm going to want to copy across some stuff from this scene into this new scene. So I'm going to want this square, and I can get rid of all the keyframes on this and all the effects that I don't need. I can center that. And I'm also going to need the circle and the background. So let's get those in there as well. And again, I can delete all these keyframes at the start here because I don't need them. And what effects do I need? I can get rid of all of these here, I think. And that's broken some expressions. So I don't need that. Cool. And then finally I need the circle. So let's grab that from here. And again, I can get rid of all these keyframes. And reset the rotation as well. Cool. And I'm also gonna quickly set this up so that actually what's okay. So I haven't even got a scene 2 yet, so this can actually all go in scene 2 instead. I'll just copy all this in. Okay. And then let's close scene 3 for now. And yeah, so like I said, I want to match this a little bit so it looks the same. So our square is going to be scaled up a bit. I'm actually going to come here and use this little button here to take a snapshot. That was really loud. Yeah, and then I can compare. So this needs to come down a little bit. And it won't be exactly the same because I'll be like kind of like moving forward a frame in this comp. So things can be like a little bit different, but we can figure that out later on. And the circle also needs to be bigger. And a bit further up. Cool, yep, that would do for now. That's our second scene set up. And then what do I want to do in here? Okay, so I think the first thing to do is fix this kind of zoom in effect. So I've got this zooming in here, and really the background should be moving as well with this. It looks like a little bit static with the background just staying the same. So what I'm going to do to fix that is grab a new null. And I'll call this zoom, let's call it scene zoom control. And I'll make that green. Cool. And then I can get rid of these keyframes. And what I'll do instead is parent yeah, I'll parent the background and this square comp to the null. And let's actually just go back so I can see. Okay. So that keyframe ends here. I'm just gonna mark that. So I'm keeping the same length. And now parent these. Cool. And then what I can do, now that both of these are controlled with this null, I can add the animation here. And I think I'm also going to have to transfer the position keyframes as well. So let's mark where they are on here as well. And then I'll set position and scale keyframes on here, and then I can delete these. And yeah, I can redo this. So I think that was at 128. I'm going to do it at 130. It came down something like this. Let's do 129 on the scale instead. Just play that back. Cool, and I want to get some easing on here. So something like this. Cool, that feels a little bit better. And then while this animation is happening inside this comp, I can also have it slightly scaling in and kind of like following the motion of the circle. So maybe let's do 131 and have it move down even further. And I'll have a look at this easing as well. And let's set this to half. It's taking a little bit too long to preview. Cool. I think I won't actually. Might try add the cell movement another way. Let's just focus on this upward motion first, and I think it needs to land a little bit further down, maybe somewhere like here. Oh, that's a little bit weird. Cool. Steady, hey, how's it going? Thanks, man. Yeah. Cool, and then I need to add this motion back in where I'm following the circle up. I need to bring this layer out as well. Something like this. And then I need to match the easing on here as well. It's moving a little bit too soon, so I'm going to bring this curve back and have it shoot off around the same time the circle does. Something like that. Cool, and then let's have another go at doing some cell motion here. I think that's going to be a bit awkward because the anchor point for my null is up here, and I'm like scaling in this way, where really I want to be like scaling downwards, so I might do that on another null instead. And I'm going to do my match cut here. Cool. And let's get another null in here. I'm going to place this down here, and this is just for this cell motion at the bottom. Add some position and scale keyframes. And then I'm going to parent this null to my new one. And this can be control 0, 1, and that can be number 2. Maybe do something like this. Feels like it needs to be like, feels like it's easing in too much. It needs to like already be there once we've landed. So just going to take some easing off at the start. And maybe it needs to be even more subtle, so 102, something like that. Yeah, go with that for now. Cool, and just tidy up that layer. Cool, that's feeling good. And then at this point here, we are to come out here, I guess, into our main comp. Yeah, at this point here, we are cutting to a new, completely new composition. Let's just watch that back. Cool. And then right here, we will have we'll have scene 2. I've got like a weird setup with my compositions going because I know I want to do some I want to do this like RGB split effect on my comps. So yeah, in scene 1, I then need to have this comp, and then the split can be going on here. But I will do that later. Cool, and then we're getting this match cut. And once I add motion and matches up a bit more, that'll be working quite nicely. But before I get into scene 2, I'm going to work on this a little bit more. Cool, so I want to fade out these trails, and these are basically just shape layers, and I've connected them all to all the points to a null using the create nulls from paths script, just so I have much better control of where the points are, and I can like easily just match these up by like copy and pasting position values instead of just trying to match up like the dots on the points, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and then on these shape layers, I want to fade them out with a mask, which I've started to prepare for by adding in some masks. But I'm going to start getting those animated now. And here on some of these, I think on all of these actually, I already have some animation on the mask, which is basically just going frame by frame and animating them on sort of in line with the circle. So yeah, I'm going to start with this first trail. I basically want them to maybe at this point start fading up and kind of like trailing behind the circle, so we're not left with these in the background and it doesn't look too cluttered. So yeah, let's do that. And this one would be different because it has no mask animation. Like this ball moves from here to here in one frame, so it's literally just popping on. So I'm going to do this by subtracting. But on all of these, they're already set to add, so I'll just animate them this way. And let's start this one fading out more like here. Maybe it fades out in like 5 frames. And I'm going to make this quite wide because I want to be able to put a nice bit of feathering on and not have it interfere with like the edges of my mask. Maybe the feathering can be like 124. So that looks kind of cool. Let's get some easing on that. And then on these masks, I'm gonna want to animate the feather as well as the mask path. And maybe this one can be like 3 or 4 frames. And the feather can animate in like 2 frames, something like that. Or maybe the feather can start just before and then be like 3 frames. Cool, and that's a little bit too quick, so just drag that out. It's probably going to be a lot of fiddling with the timing on this to make it look right, but it'll be worth it. Maybe it starts a little bit sooner as well. Cool. And then basically going to be repeating this process all the way through on all of these now. Cool, and I'm just checking I'm not messing up the keyframes that are animating on these trails as I go. And I'm also trying to match the angle of the path as well, so it's like wiping across in the right direction. I think that's looking good. And maybe these need even more feathering, but I can come back to that once I've got the animation in place. And then on this last one again, just like the first one, there's no mask to animate this on because it's just one frame between the movement. So I just need to create a new mask. And I can set that to subtract. Cool, let's have a look back at that, see how that looks. Okay, timing feels a little bit weird on that end one, but let's just power on for now. See how it looks out in this animation comp. Okay, I think it looks a little bit weird because you can see this overlapping, but should be able to fix that with this null. Like I said, it's controlling the point of the path, so I can easily just scoot that up. And it feels a little bit less strange. Maybe I can also like animate the opacity on this one here, so it feels like the fade is transitioning a little bit better. Oh look. Maybe it needs to go a little bit slower on this M bit. Maybe scoot these along. Maybe I animate the opacity on this one as well. Something like that. Cool, okay. That feels pretty nice. Okay, one other idea I had on these trails is to kind of like animate the gradient through them. And so I've set it up. So if I solo this one, I've set it up so the color or the gradient is being added with this 4 color gradient. So then I can animate this one up like so. to kind of like move the gradient through the layer. So I'm just going to try that out, see how it looks. On this first one, it's kind of hard to notice because it's only on screen for a short amount of time, but I think that's kind of cool. I think it could work if I try it on all of them. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and do that now. I'm going to solo them as I go so I can just see them a bit easier. And another idea I had for these trails is to be very quick and probably hard to notice, but I think it could be cool if I did something like this and had some of these like a light sweep animate across them as well. So I will try that out after this as well. And to make it more noticeable, I'm going to bring these endpoints up a little bit further. Like that, maybe. Cool, 2 more to go. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. That gives it like that sense of movement. That's really cool. I am happy with that. I'm just going to fix this here. I think the timing is a little bit off on that one. I think with the light sweep as well, running through that, that'll look really cool. Ah, okay. Let's take a look at that in this comp. Nice. That is looking cool. I need to fix this here though. Why is that happening? Bring that up further. Cool. And I'm also just going to go through and clean this up by cutting my layers to where they're actually ending. Cool. Nice. Okay. I feel like I'm finally getting this bit down and looking good. Cool. And then another idea I just had is to kind of do like another echo effect on the circle. I'm gonna make a new layer called Circle Echo. And make this a different color as well. I'm just gonna solo this and get rid of the keyframes on the echo effect. Let's do something like this. Maybe add some decay as well. Maybe make this like a bigger number. Let's see how this looks. So that could be something. Let's maybe try change the color. And then add like a blending mode to it or something. Maybe it should be outlined as well. Maybe it's not a fill. Add a gradient stroke. And I'm just going to leave that as black and white and use a tint effect to change the colors. Maybe that can be like an overlay. Try some different overlays. That's kind of cool. Then maybe if I play with the number of echoes a little bit. It's kind of cool. Kind of like that. Just adds a little bit extra to it. And I think maybe if I add like the opacity to like 80 and add a wiggle to the opacity and kind of have it like flicker, that could be cool. Maybe do 10,60. Kind of want it to have motion blur as well. That makes it really hard to see. I just had an idea as well. What if we make this 01 and then do another second one with like loads of motion blur, like 200, and then make the stroke width wider. See how that looks. Mm. And then have these both fade out at this point. And since I got the wiggle on this, I'm going to add a transform effect as well and animate the opacity on the transform effect to that kind of override the wiggle down here. Kind of like that. Just a little bit something extra going on. Cool. Okay. Maybe they can like flicker as well. Maybe on this one. Do something like this. Cool. Okay, I like that. Maybe this first one isn't the same color. Maybe do like that. And I just had a thought. So I've got one frame here where you can still see the bottom of this square. So on that one frame, I added another smear effect here, which someone very helpful from the last stream reminded me of. So this smear effect lets me move this up. So I want to add like a little curve. So it's like ping pong, so it's gone down and then swung back up. So, and to stop this interfering from the other smear, I'm just gonna turn the effect opacity off at this point, and then turn it on, and then also animate the tube property, and have this move up like so. So if I come back here, yep, that frame is now bent upwards. And maybe it needs to be a little bit more. Cool. I was just thinking I want this first echo to be a bit more noticeable. So maybe just trying to change it to add. Maybe this also has a posterized time effect. Just trying some different stuff out. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on like the finer details, so now I kind of like to try and block everything out first. But I think that gets the point across for that part. And this zoom here feels like it happens just a little bit too quickly. Let's bring these points back a bit. Yeah, that feels better. Boom, cool. Okay. So yeah, don't want to focus on the details right now, but I'm writing everything I want to do down as I go. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little marker with a little label, light sweep through trails. Remember to come back to that. And I'm going to try get this second scene going and get the match cut working now. So let's come have a look at this. Cool, I'm going to let's take a screenshot. This is going to be loud. Brace yourself. Oh. And I'm going to just match up the rotation of the circle in this scene. So it looks like it's more like that. Sweet. And the square needs to come down a bit. One thing I do need to figure out here actually, I wanted to add a bit of scale to the circle. What's this piece expressing? It doesn't really express anything. Just expressing my creativity. Yeah, I don't really go into these like trying to convey a message or anything like that. It's purely just like visual and just trying to make something that looks cool and flows nicely and has nice design, nice animation. And it's a way for me to experiment and try out new things. Like I haven't worked with textures like this in a long time, so just like playing around with using textures in this piece and get some nice motion going. And it's just a little social animation to put on Instagram. So yeah, doesn't really express too much. I know like Austin and the guys at Rivi early on, they were doing like the whole loop had like a theme, and it had that bit of text at the end. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and theirs was more like, you know, set a theme and animate something with that theme, but I'm just kind of not too worried about that. just purely for visual and experimenting. And also like, yeah, thanks man. And like this is like the kind of work I want to do as well, so it's good to like make stuff in this style and then post it on Instagram, and then maybe someone will see it and be like, oh, can we hire you to do something in like what you posted on Instagram? That's kind of like a big part of why I do these as well. And I think like companies like hiring people who do a lot of like personal work and exploration in their own time, so I've had it like, I think it's already paying off for me, so just carrying on doing it really. Yeah. Okay. So here, I want to match cut, which is what I'm doing in this scene here. And I also want to like start adding these cracks and this like explosion into the scene as well. But yeah, what I wanted to do was add some scale to the circle. So maybe it like scales up slightly here. And then scales back down. I don't really want to play with the scale too much here because it's going to mess up where the bend aligns at the bottom here. But something subtle would work. And something is not looking right here. That is because my mask is missing a keyframe. Yep, that's better. Cool. So yeah, in this style frame I've got this trail on the circle here, so I also want to get that added in. So let's figure out the highest point. Okay, so the highest point is here. So if I draw my trail the whole length of the square, I can just use a mask to animate that on. So let's try match up the width of the circle. And this can go behind the circle as well. Make this a different color. Just do a dark purple. Cool, and I'm just gonna turn this into a path, so I can just drag these points down like so. Do something like that. Cool. And let's call this final circle trail. And let's get a gradient fill on this. Cool, and just making sure I'm matching that to my style frame. I'm just going to use a tint effect to color this. And then I can add a mask. Cool, and then when we start moving upwards, which is from this point, yeah, then I can start animating this on. And let's make a duplicate of the square layer down here. Let's call this square matte. Use a color to black. You can also turn the layer off. And then this trail here can be masked inside of the square, like so. Cool. Yeah. Won't it be better to make this trail matte inside the cube? Oh, you're literally doing this right now, lol. Yeah. Yeah, we had the same idea. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird, like being outside, so yeah, let's get that in there. And then there's only like a couple frames in this animation, so I'm just gonna animate this mask frame by frame to follow the circle upwards. And what I'll also do is probably animate the gradient points, so we're not just starting with like this deep blue color, we have the gradient like kind of like following upwards as well. And I'm just going to change the color of my mask so it's a little bit easier to read. And the only problem here is this is now being masked at the top. But by this point we don't even see the bottom of the square anymore, so I reckon what I can do is at this point make a new one that's not masked. So this one will be like the top section. And it can even start here, and if I bring these points up, then we get the masking either way. Okay, I might run into some problems with that, but I'll carry on for now. Cool. Now like I said, let's animate the these gradient fill points here. So set these points like this. So this is how I want to finish. I'll turn this off now, but I can fix that in a second. Yeah, so let's start more like this. Cool. You can continue the trail as it is, then duplicate it and pre-comp it, then mask the upper half of the pre-comp to have only the upper trail outside the square. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But this also works as well, just copying these gradient keyframes and then it matches up. It'd probably be better to do it your way and it'd be easier to edit, but I don't need to edit this trail too much, I don't think. So if I turn this layer back on, now you can see what I mean. Plus this is like just a couple frames just to tie us into this next scene anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. And I need to do some little tweaks here. So first off, let's have the gradient be more like this towards the end. I'll copy these keyframes over again. Yep. And then secondly, it's I don't like how this pops in. So maybe what I can do is have it fade in over these set of frames. And that feels a little bit better. Better. Let's have a look at that. Cool. I'm just looking at this again. Let's little change on this. Don't like how this trail here just pops away. So let's see if I can fix that. Okay. Would love to keep watching the whole process. Kind of like to be a witness on this cool piece. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, even for a little bit. It's cool to chat. Yeah. Sometimes these can be like boring to watch when I'm like trying to figure out something I don't know how to do and it's taking me forever. But if you ever want to go back and watch them, they're all here on my YouTube channel in this live section. And I'll leave them up on my channel for anyone who wants to go back through. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and watching so far. Yeah, so here in my style frame, my circle is like a little bit bigger. It feels too small. Like at this point here, it feels like it needs to be a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna come to this comp and set some scale keyframes. So that at this point, the circle is getting bigger. And I'm gonna have to match that in the scene as well. Yep, that feels better in terms of size. And it can continue this scaling motion in this scene. But that means I need to also scale the trail as well. Maybe an easy way to do that is to just parent the trails to the circle. Nope. Not a good way of doing it. So what I'll do instead is just animate the path. And I can copy this path animation onto this one as well. Cool, that's matching nicely. And I also want to add a little bit of grain to this gradient. So I'm just going to do that with a noise HLS effect. Something like that. Maybe a little bit less. And I don't need these markers here, so just get rid of these. These are a little bit annoying. Cool. And then again, I want the gradient to be even further up. Move these keyframes in. Yeah, that looks better. Cool. and then I need this trail to be in this scene 02 comp. So let's grab this. And again, I do not need the keyframes in here. And I can position this up. Cool, and then on this bit here, so this is out sort of more towards, yeah, towards my main comp, where I'm just storing my scene comps, and then all the animation is going on in here. I'm just going to add a little bit of directional blur over the top of everything here as we're moving up. Something like this. And problem I have with directional blur is it's blurring out these bottom parts here. So to fix that, how am I going to fix that? Maybe I do it inside here, inside this comp, and do it on a adjustment layer. Call this blur. Does that work better? Nope, still got the same problem. Okay, so I'm going to fix that by maybe doing a box blur that's only blurring on vertical. And then if I repeat edge pixels, we're all good on the bottom and top. Cool, let's watch that. Hey Gordo, how's it going? How are you? I was watching a bit of your stream the other day, trying to pick out some tips from your Procreate process. Yeah, I've been meaning to get Procreate and have a little play with it, so I have to do that soon. Come on. Should I just play this at half? That's taking forever. Cool. That's working pretty well. Match cut is looking good as well. Although I need to kind of carry through this little bit of blur. Maybe that needs to be less, like 7. And I can do that here. I'll just copy the effect over. Let's reverse these. And then go from, let's go from 8 to 0. Get some easing on there as well. And at this point here as well, I think I want to start rotating the circle. Which way are we rotating here? Yeah. So let's jump all the way back to here. Find our circle. And it's going to be on the texture that I'm rotating. Maybe do something like that. Start off with a nice slow ease. It's pretty subtle, but it's gonna carry through into this next scene. Cool. Okay. So I think the first thing to do here is figure out the overall motion. Yeah. Let's just come back and look at our storyboard. Yeah, let's just figure out, I don't know whether I want to, I probably want to parent the square and the background again to a null. Let's do that. Probably the whole thing to a null actually. Yeah, and then I can call this like camera control 1. Two seconds. Okay. Yeah, okay. So let's parent everything to this null. And this is acting as our camera, so we can carry on with the camera motion upwards. Let's do something like this. Maybe for 2 seconds. And I want this to have like a kind of slow-mo feeling to it. Maybe over like 3 seconds. Get some easing on this. And then also get some motion going on the circle. Let's get some scale and position keyframes. We want to like be moving this up and out of the scene, so you get this transition going to this kind of rectangle. And then I also want to kind of like follow this circle upwards so we don't see the square anymore, and then this is where I can do that transition. And I need to figure out the easing for that. Something like this. It's a little bit too slow. I think what I'll do instead, let's just create a new null and overlay this secondary upward motion over the top. Gives me better control that way. Something like this. A little nice swoosh upwards. And then again, let's figure out the easing on here. Feels like that needs to start way sooner. Like this. Yeah, that's more like it. And I want to do an even bigger camera move than that. More like this. Which means the circle needs to go up even further. Yep, and maybe even more. Something like this, and I can extend the background. Height. Do 150. Stick 200 in there for now and go even further with this. I don't really like how you can see the like mirroring line here, so it would be cool if I could get past that a little bit, and then the circle goes even further up. See how that looks. Yep. And an even harsher curve here, so we shoot up a little bit quicker. And then the motion on this position can be something more like this. Maybe I want to do the same sort of thing on the position of the circle and have two like overlaying position keyframes. But I'm just going to compare this out here, see if it works with the match cut. Just play around with the timing of this a little bit. And make sure that works out here. Cool. And I'm gonna have like lots of other effects here, like blurs and screen shakes and stuff, so that will help this transition here. But I feel like that's looking good. Yeah, this might be a good place to call it as well, actually. I've got a good amount done today. And it'd be nice to start off working in the scene 2 comp. Yeah, I think I'll call it here for now. I got a good amount done. I've finally cracked the code on this like trail thing. I feel like that is working well now. Yeah, it's like slowly moving out of the this looks shit stage to okay, like I've got something good here. Yeah, still a long ways to go, but yeah, I'm happy with that for today. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in along the way and anyone who's watching back on YouTube. And yeah, I will see you next time. See you later.